Hello, and welcome back to the use and abuse of Laura Endicott. This is the first scene of chapter 3, but in this chapter we find that Laura reproduces the first relevant letters between her and her beau Philip. Chapter the third, First Letters. Cambridge, January 14, 1866. Dearest Rossi, I hope this missile finds you in the best and brightest of spirits, knowing that a beautiful if wayward girl is falling in love with you, and with a great mischief dwells overlong upon such a thing each night before falling asleep. You who address me with the undeserved diminutive Laurel, as if I were the combined goddesses Sophia and Aphrodite the both, and I suppose this is the ideal for every modern woman, must make for sad company in my absence. I feel it. From across the Channel and down the Seine and back up the Thames, these are rivers of blood, my love, heated by organs of a furnace which is not ours to own, but only to share. Good Lord, I am writing a love letter now. Turn me back over your cherished knees, my liege, and I shall laugh at such as I did before. Your gentle, soothing soul is made of only the purest of ivory humours. Thank you for porting my lesser one alongside it. Oh, I should not speak of it, for you would be here in a trice, but my duties I have so recently taken up, and taken on, prohibit such a higher organ to be present. It is certainly and surely better off with you in your bed at night, in your breast pocket by day. It is me, my love, and I am thus with you every moment, which is in fact my purest desire. This first week produced a chapter of incidents, and only within one did I feel I exerted my best selfhood, and so that is the vignette I shall relate to you, and I am writing this as it did occur, as if by report. So bear with me. It's an afternoon on the fourth day of August, the last of my day, and of course the girls shan't complain of it. Down the long corridor from the schoolroom there is a kind of anteroom, wherein bygone ages tapestries may have been cleaned, or the like. For all that, it is larger than one might have expected, and has been turned into a kind of sick room for the lady of the house, who is frail and infirm. I wager due to 2 difficult pregnancies. Indeed, I received some indirect evidence to that accord during an ensuing confrontation between the younger daughter and her mother, which I overheard as I progressed down the hallway from my morning station to my own rooms at the furthest end of the house. I entered, not because I sought to intrude, but due to my duty being the encompassing care of the 2 children of the estate. You will note, of course, that I appeared in medias res. How long has it been, Olivia, you wretched wretch, how long? The mother's rasp was a rack of bitterness. I was immediately arrested by her tones. Do you expect me to answer such a question? You are a coward. Indeed, had I not the morbid memory of giving you birth, I would not have recognized you as my flesh and blood. For my part, I do not have any such recollection to cloud my perception of you, mother. You will forgive me, Philip, but as I was opening my mouth in some astonishment, I was also silently praising the girl for her rhetorical parry. The mother was not as taken with it as you might imagine. How dare you? I shall call my maid. Oh, even better, you. At this point I had bodily entered the room, and the mother lit upon me. She actually pointed to me and continued, Take this ungrateful, spiteful spawn and render upon her a thorough thrashing. It's been far too long since she last felt any order and authority in her shorter life. Yes, do you not think your governess answers to me as well as to your father? You shall not escape your due. Of course, I had absolutely no intention of punishing Olivia in any manner, but for a moment it was a tight spot, so to speak. Yet the girl provided for the first assay, since she has proven to not be one to ever be cowed by any other. Speak to me of cowardice, being yourself its native child. Who shrinks from her marital duties and places them upon her own issue? She who abdicates duty also does the same for authority. You have denied the first, and so now I deny you the second. This was well said, and once again I was distracted for a moment. In that minute space the mother shrieked out an epithet which I will not reproduce here, and looked away from her daughter in contempt, her eyes raised up to the ceiling. In that moment I had Olivia's attention, and pointed to my cheek, and then jerked my neck round. She had but one more moment to fathom my meaning, and I lunged for her, striking her across the cheek. But she had understood. It was but a glancing blow, and on top of crying out herself, she doubled over and fell to her knees. I then, keeping up the theatre, grasped Olivia by the scruff of her pinafore and dragged her up and out of the room, glancing back to the mother and gesturing towards the schoolroom. Yes, yes, You have the necessary instruments in hand there. Quite so. Do not spare her any mercy, and close the door on your exeunt." That was an end of it. We had apparently prevailed. I silently rushed up the corridor with Olivia by my side, now unencumbered by my grasp, having let it go immediately after the door to the sick room had been shut. I did the same with the schoolroom door, and then bent towards the girl, checking her face. "Are you uninjured?" I kept my voice a whisper, and she responded in kind. "I barely felt it. A nice touch, that. Tells me that you're a schemer, after all." "Your left cheek is a trifle pinkish. I think I'll live. Now, then, are you going to fetch up your cane?" Olivia never quit, even in a minor crisis, but all was not playful, at least on my end. "There is something else, Philip, something that cannot be told in truth, but you may gainsay it from the remainder of this scene." "Olivia, the only reason you could very well use a thrashing is for the way in which you treat your sister, hardly your mother." "So she has told you, then? That's a ringer, if e'er there was one." "That is diplomatic." "And that is ironic. My father was in the service before he became an MP, then in cabinet. Early retirement from a promising career. Why so? Because of an incompetent wife. And that, too, is diplomatic." "Listen, Olivia, you have my every sympathy, but Sarah nonetheless deserves better from you. She has sacrificed herself upon your behalf, not upon your mother's. Do you not see that?" "I doubt this. And why? I'm not his type. No, it's not my 2 years junior in age. Sarah started up with him when she was my age then. Oh, yes. So she did not tell you the whole of it. Well, well, miss." Now I was stunned into silence. I had to gather myself before attempting a reply. "So it was your mother who hired my predecessor?" "Correct. Father has only been home permanently for the last 6 months. To his credit, he began a search for my sister's replacement soon thereafter. And why not kill two birds?" "I am that stone, then?" "To be sure. I gather you're as talented in the boudoir as you strive to be in the schoolroom." At this point any other governess would have fetched the cane, but I took the girl's cheekiness on the chin, and it thus had about as little effect on me as had my theatrical blow upon her. "And now, Philip, you may forsake me. I offer no excuses, other than I am saving the moral lives of two young ladies who are themselves not at all innocent. You may judge my decision for yourself. As it is made in the absence of the very soul, I commend it to your most intimate safekeeping." "Your mother is ineffective, that is clear enough. What of her own servant?" "She is a piece of work. I am waiting for my chance." There was much left unsaid here, but I did not choose to press it. Yet Olivia, who never paused to gauge the effect of her words upon those who happened to hear them, whether by design, as I surmise, or by simple immaturity, which I doubt, continued to pace. "Take a stroll, Miss Laura, even in winter. It is a wondrous thing to behold the lake, frozen over by a glittering sheen of starlit crystal. Then up along toward the ridge, before returning to the house by way of the smaller garden." Her eyes reflected nothing of her words. With them she gave me rather both a demand and a caution. She ended with, "The crisp air will do you some good." With that she turned on her modest heels and sauntered idly back down the length of the hallway. I watched her, feeling a trifle vexed. Then yet another piece of scenery. As she was about to turn the corner into the upper foyer, her left leg flashed out and her boot caught the lock of the door of the sick room, shattering it and splintering the door frame around it. The door itself only lounged lazily inward, but the warning had been most transparently sent. "This is the household in which I now reside, my darling boy. You may consider me fit to weather such a tenure, or perhaps you would seek to rescue me. But I beg of you not to do so, even if your very instincts now tell you otherwise. For this is a case of your lover exercising authority over her own life and doings. I desire to do so, not only to prove my mettle to you, my love, but also toward my duty as the mentor and guardian of two endangered children. If it presents to me a tall task, it shall yet be a passing one. And is it not your love for me that gifts me the strength of the thrice-armed? Your firm friend, Laurel." I received Philip's reply about 6 days thereafter, and in the course of that time everything had changed in my perception of the said task, but more about that later on. Paris, January 17th, 1866. My dearest Laurel, I cannot put into words the two utmost and uttermost conditions by which we are set apart. One, the simple distance to which we both agreed. I echo your thoughts. I adore your mischief. I am unworthy of your slightest glance. 2. I am rendered silent by your account. I abhor your condition, and you are worthy of a world's more respect than what stands afore you now. Good gods, my darling girl, my darling dashing girl, and yes, of course you are right, and further in the right, for your shielding of young Miss Olivia. But to do the same for her older sister places you in a precariously precious predicament. I know you know this, and of course I have never met Sir Hugh Mountford, nor do I hope I shall ever meet such a man. Might I state in print, for the record, what would happen to him if he removed but a hair on your perfect head? I may not be a knight, but your stalwart infantry be my calling. And yes, to speak of one's calling, I understand your motives are noble, and as noble as your deeds may have to become ignoble. I am possessed of a sensate jealousy, and I know you would question me if I were not so possessed, but that is the far lesser evil here. I suppose to expose this aristocrat is impossible for the time being. No one would believe a mere child in any case. You as well would be questioned as a young adult, not even fully of legal age. I dread this. I am filled with rage at it, but not and never at you, my love. And if you judge me worthy of you, the least I can do is stand by your side throughout this adventure, which is more truly misadventure. And so I do, Laura Endicott. You should never doubt my loyalty, nay, my fealty, for who is the truer aristocrat upon this earth? Now, bear with me, my love, for this is a moment where I stake my claim as both a man and a 25-year-old. Oh, so wise am I. Shall I tutor you in intimacy after being schooled by same? Nay, it is not so much that, but beware of any sense that this villain desires you, in fact, for yourself. This is the deeper danger. Not that you would replace his daughter, for as long as his desire continues to rest in her direction alone, your performance shall be accepted as chivalrous and indeed beyond routine altruism. But if he e'er shifts his longings, that is the moment when you must leave his employ, perhaps taking the girls with you. Here is one other announcement from the City of Light. I should be proud to adopt them as our own. If this is to your vision, bid me seek out a lawyer skilled in this kind of work, if there is one. In the meanwhile, let us plan to reunite as soon as this term concludes. Shall we suggest the end of April in London? I now live for that moment. Your friend in trust and faith, Rossi. Oh, how I wept when I read these words! I had torn open the envelope, very much against my usual careful incising, given my philatelic interest, and read the letter right there in the post office. Thus I had to hide both my manner and my tears, wiping them with a stringent sternness off my cheeks, those last made ruddy by the winter's air and brilliant sunlight. And this outward combination reminded me of Olivia's suggestion, if one could call it that. I carefully rejoined letter and cover, and placed them in my smaller satchel. A visit to the bank concluded my time in town. Dismounting the little trap in front of the great house, I did not enter, but instead walked with purpose right round the sprawling edifice and down toward the lake. Rossi, I think I do love you, and the shame of what lies before me is only magnified by your very trust in me. If you meet another, this is now your right, all the more so anon, and I give it to thee. Keep my soul as truest trophy, for without your love I shall never need it e'er again. Thank you for listening.